Hello, everybody, and welcome to Lobe Science's channel. I want to let you all know what we're going to be doing with this video series. We're going to be running through company updates and industry updates, answering any questions you guys have for us. If you have any during any of this, don't be afraid to send them over. And of course, we're going to be introducing members of the team. So who better to kick us off? Video number one, the CEO and director, Phil Young. Phil, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Michael. It's great to be here with you and look forward to the series.
Perfect. So I feel like the best way to start this off is to give a little introduction to yourself, talk about your past a little bit, and what really motivated you to get in this industry.
Sure. Well, I started out years ago as a sales rep, and I got into the industry because science has always intrigued me. And fast forward through several companies that are well known. Genentech was one of the initial people hired in commercialization in Genentech, and that really spurred my desire to stay in biotech and developing novel therapeutics. And so fast forward to the last 20 years, I've been a senior executive, CEO, and director at multiple public companies, taking them through very successful M&A transactions totaling over $900 million, as well as bringing multiple products to the market from discovery all the way through commercialization. It's something that I've found I'm very good at, I'm skilled at, and I also enjoy doing it because at every company, as with Lobe, we keep patients at the center of our focus. We're actually doing something very significant to improve the lives of a lot of patients.
Yeah, that's wonderful. There's something people talk about where you bring something that you like doing, that you're good at, that also benefits the world, and it's like the perfect triangle there. So Phil, you found that. That's wonderful. I'm very glad to hear that. So now walk me through the story of your involvement with Lobe Sciences. Tell me that origin story.
Sure. I've known the executive chairman, John Gilbert, for several years. We worked together at another company, and we had been back and forth the idea of psychedelics and what we could do with them. And John was able to find a company that we reverse merged into and created Lobe Sciences with the idea that we were going to go after two initial indications that have no current therapeutic options: traumatic brain injury as well as PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. There's no FDA approved treatments for those, and there are millions and millions of people suffering from it. And I felt that the opportunity to create a biopsychedelic company, as I'm calling it, because we are a biotech company, we just happen to have a foundation in psychedelics.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. You know, I have heard before in my dabbling into psychedelic research, something about causing neurogenesis in the thalamus from taking several of these substances. And with TBIs and stuff, I've met a lot of people suffering from traumatic brain injuries, and they are a group of people that need some help in the world right now. It's one of those things, if it happens to you, you're going to be struggling with it and for the rest of your life. So kudos to you there. So now walk us through what your role looks like as the CEO. Tell me what you handle.
Sure. Well, I handle everything from making sure the accounting is done, raising capital, overseeing and managing, as well as being very actively involved in the clinical development, the regulatory development, the manufacturing. Included with that also is my outbound outreach to investors, whether it's one-on-one phone calls I have with any investor who wants to get in touch with me, to attending meetings and doing presentations and getting the story out. And that's one of the key components of being a CEO, is spreading the story of the company so that more people can find it.
Agreed. Yeah. Often one of the things I've heard is the CEO is the ultimate advocate to those outside the company and those inside the company, as they play the maestro, wearing a lot of hats, especially depending on the size of the company. You got to steer a rather agile ship, correct?
Mm-hmm. Very, very much so. And, you know, we're a small company, and I'm running it virtually or semi-virtually, as I've done very successfully for the past 20 years. Long before COVID came into existence, I was running companies using video conferencing people in from Europe, from Australia, from the West Coast of the United States. And it works very well, but it takes a special effort, and we've got it down pretty well.
Yeah, glad to hear it. I mean, that kind of says like you had some vision of where things were going. I feel like this was a long time coming, and the COVID catalyst was like, okay, guys, we can embrace this now. We can move to this. As you said, there's some significant advantages to it. So, Phil, I guess wrapping things up, now that we're a quarter of the way to 2022, and I don't know about you, but it's speeding by for me. What are you excited about for the rest of the year with Lobe Sciences?
Well, we're making the transition from a drug discovery company into a full-fledged clinical biotechnology company. We'll be announcing very shortly our partnerships for manufacturing, as well as we'll be outlining in the next few weeks the exact role the clinical trials will take in the second half of this year. So we'll be taking our patent pending combinations, psilocybin and N-acetylcysteine or NAC, into patients, phase 1A and 1B studies, both in normal subject volunteers as well as patients. And I'm very excited to see that come to fruition and begin to see the promise of these drugs.
Wonderful. Well, Phil, I feel like you did a great job walking us through your past, the origin of how you got involved. And it sounds like we have a lot of exciting things to cover in these upcoming video series. So everybody stay tuned. We'll do an overview of the company in the next video. And of course, if you guys have any questions, don't be afraid to send them over to us. We will happily answer them. But for now, Phil, any closing words for people before we go today?
I just echo what you said. Any questions, please send them in. And I look forward to updating everyone through the future programs.
Perfect. Well, Phil, thank you so much for your time today and have a wonderful day.
You too. Thanks.